Let me actually show you something else. Freedom. No. Armstrong and the Flex Fighters. Stretch Armstrong and the Flex Fighters. Mark of the Beast. Type it into Google. Smart Mark of the Beast. You know that SMART is an anagram for secret militarized armaments in residential territories. In other words, gear, placed into your home without your foreknowledge. But the reason I brought this up, and we're going to watch this 3.5-minute clip, is because the owner of this company developing and releasing the Smart Mark in this cartoon for children, predictive programming to brainwash little innocent kids into taking this mark, if they even have a choice. I mean, it's kind of like whatever their parents do is what they're probably going to have to do, unfortunately. But I come against that in the name of Christ, that it wouldn't be that way for them all and those who are meant to escape from this will somehow through the Most High and his enabling. But his name in this show is John Rook. So to show you how this works, let's look up the name John. Then let's look up the name Rook. Rook, name meaning. It means destroyer of God's grace. Just like the other name, Annabelle and Damien. See, it's the same thing. It's the exact same name meanings in two different formats. Kaufman, what's Kaufman? What does Rook mean? Okay, there's no E at the end, excuse me. John Rook. Rook. I might be remembering it wrong. We'll find out shortly here. Let's watch this.
Carter City is stunned by the sudden rollout of Rook Unlimited's most fantastic device ever. The Smart Mark. Throw your other devices away, because the Smart Mark is more than just a phone. It's part of you.
So it's a metaphor for this, they're not showing you the Smart Mark in this form, but it's the same technology. Doesn't matter that it's a stamp instead of something they put in you. It's the same. So his name is Rook. Let's see if we can find it. Last time I looked it up, it means stealer away, destroyer of, or thief. Rook. See if we can find it real quick. John meaning the Most High has been gracious, or God's grace. Same like Annabelle. I want to show you the meaning of Rook, so you believe me. Annabelle also means grace, and if you're new, I'm sorry I trailed off earlier. The word grace, in this context, it means the ability to be saved from hell, because we all deserve it, because we've all rebelled against God, just like Satan and the fallen angels. So grace, in this context, means the ability for salvation. So to destroy grace, or to steal or take it away, means to take away your chance of salvation. That's what it means. Rook. Wow, what's this? Synonyms for Rook, including trick, swindle, cheat, deceive, bamboozle, bilk, defraud, fleece, steal, cheater, and more. Maybe that's what it was. It sounds like what I remember. So to swindle you out of God's grace by giving you the mark of the beast. Let's have it load so you can see it all. Apparently these are all synonyms for the word rook, or in this case, the name. Let's type in rook definition, see what we get. Defraud, so it's not really a name, except in this case it is. But any word can be a name because names are meanings first. So meanings are names, it's the reverse. So it is a name, and it means to defraud, overcharge, or swindle. Because even if they give you the mark of the beast for free, they've overcharged you. Get it? I'm uploading a video right now, so my internet's very slow, but as you can see here on your screen, this first hit on Google, it gives you 48 synonyms, all meaning to take away, steal, or basically destroy your soul. Cheater, steal, fleece, defraud, bamboozle, deceive. How many more do you need? Right here. Defraud, overcharge, or swindle.
Use it as cash. Book your travel. And even shoot video. Distribution points are all over the city. And don't let the lines discourage you. The Rook Unlimited Smart Mark is worth the wait. I never realized how wonderful technology could make me feel. The Smart Mark has brought order to my life. And the best part? It's absolutely free. A gift of thanks to our city from Rook Unlimited.
23% of the population has been given the Smart Mark, number 1.
Time to test our system, number 6. The Flex Fighters are out there somewhere. Teaming up with Jonathan Rook. Let's put our new recruits to work. Subtly.
We should find the Flex Fighters.
I ought to find the Flex Fighters.
We should find the Flex Fighters. Find the Flex Fighters.
Growing up in this city, the streets of Old Town, I saw the worst mankind had to offer. Chaos, disorder. I vowed to make it all change. To make it all better. All these years working in secret. Rising up the ranks of the tech men. It was all leading to this day. Order has finally been established in Charter City. No child will have to fear for their safety again. The people owe you the greatest of debts, number 1, for liberating them from the chaos of their lives.
You guys love new tech. You didn't want to get smart marked? No way. That's clearly some shady biz. Who wants to be?
You call yourself a man of science. World order is our destiny. Submit to a smart mark and join the glorious victory order over chaos, or you will be eliminated.
Grandpa, Mr. Savick, where is everybody?
Nowhere to get those foolish new devices.
What? No, they can't. Grandpa, those things are dangerous. It's a conspiracy. Mind control.
I knew it.
Did you
3
hear
hours
that?
is enough time for us to get to our families. Maybe we can stop them before they get marked.
They seem to be establishing checkpoints of some kind. This is how they keep order.
This is the nightmare I warned you about. People think smart marks are brand new rook tech that will improve their lives. They don't know they're being tricked.
All smart marks so far. But your chip makes it possible to control everyone in Charter City, whether they're marked or not.
They even call it Charter City. You know why? The word charter, it means map or plan or blueprint. So what that means is that this is their model for real life, for everywhere. Or at least everywhere that they have these 5G towers, because that's what they really need in order to pull this off. That's why they're being basically growing like weeds, sprouting up everywhere. A huge push to build 5G all over the place. In just the past few months even. Past few years, definitely. That's why. And you saw, as soon as he pressed the button or whatever, All those people had the same thought all of a sudden, and their thought is to rout out and find the flex fighters, the people who didn't have the mark, to get them to take it. That's what the Bible prophesies. These people would even do it without mind control being an element involved, because they want everyone to do what they've done, because they believe in the system so much and they're so afraid. They think this is their only hope. Even these Freemasons have websites calling this thing their only hope. The so-called blah, blah, blah thing that they want you to take in you is our only hope. The Messiah. They literally have websites calling it that. Let's see if I can find one. If it will load. I don't want to waste any time. So you can find that episode by just typing in Mark of the Beast, Flex Fighters. Interestingly, they call them flex fighters because they're flexible. They don't listen to everything the system tells them. In other words, they have a brain. So that's why they call them flex fighters. It's kind of funny.
This expanding wealth of information for America's young minds was made possible after a Florida judge last month ruled that if the Orange County School District allowed Christian groups to disseminate Bibles and other materials in its schools, then other religious and atheist groups should be given the same right to distribute their material. And followers of the Antichrist seized on the decision to treat all faiths equally. A spokesman for the Satanic...
You know what's proof that the scriptures are legit? Is why didn't they have that ruling a long time ago? It wasn't allowed by the Most High God to happen until now. Because they could have pulled that argument 20 years ago. It would have been more ridiculous though, because people weren't so dumbed down and acceptive of everything. They more so had standards. So to make it so that Satanism is on equal ground with Christianity, never mind that it's pagan or whatever, but at least it's not straight up Satanism. That's even worse for children. Of course, I could make the argument that Christianity is just as bad because you're still left with lies, but I'm not going to do that in this video. That's what all my other videos are for. But they could have done this a long time ago. Why didn't they? Because it's part of the timeline, the progression. They weren't allowed to. Making Satanism part of your public school system is just signs of the times, if you have eyes to see. Shouldn't be hard.
Satanic Temple tells Raw Story that, quote, if a public school board is going to allow religious pamphlets and full Bibles to be distributed to students, as is the case in Orange County, Florida, we think the responsible thing to do is to ensure that these students are given access to a variety of different religious opinions, as opposed to standing idly by while one religious voice dominates the discourse and delivers propaganda.
You know what's funny? They just said different religions. There is no such thing as religion. But if you were to call keeping God's commandments a religion, which it's not, it's just a duty. There's no religion means mind control or ceremony or ritual. If you were to call it a ritual, all religions would be the same religion. You either keep the Most High's commandments or you don't. There's only two choices. So even that's interesting, the way she worded that.
To youth, unquote. In a ruling that was aimed at maintaining religious neutrality, students who may never have intended to learn about Christianity, atheism, or Satanism will now receive an introduction to all three. Marina Portnaya, RT.
Man, I'm almost lost without words. Eldola, you seen that?
This is my first time actually seeing this report.
I'm going to ask a question, Elder Lawyer, because it seems as if Satanists are working around the clock while those who claim to be good people, who believe in God, it's just sitting idly by, letting this whole agenda run over their children. Is there a unified front against wickedness, Lawyer? And if not, why? Go on.
Man, that's a pretty, I would say, to say the least, a pretty loaded question. Is there a unified front against wickedness? I think the issue is that those who would proclaim to be standing at the forefront against wickedness, they themselves are proponents of wickedness. If you think about certain either religious groups or certain religious organizations, their ideologies actually contribute to the propagation of wickedness in the earth. If you, for example, if you were to look at certain Christian churches or churches who at least proclaim to be upholders of the Christian faith, the Christian belief, many of them, as we know, have been sold out to prosperity doctrine, to weak, doctrine pushing weak values, not taking a particular or a strong stance against sin, being accepting of certain sinful activities, which again weakens the teaching and the doctrine of the Bible, not putting forth the understanding that we are to keep the commandments of God. So those who have been put forward or who are standing in the forefront, proclaiming to be the propagators of righteousness and truth against sin, they themselves have been given over to a weak, watered-down brand of Christianity, which does not present a defense against the teachings of sin, such as what we see and what we saw in that last broadcast. Man, why not?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
no, go ahead. Why not? No, go ahead.
Yeah, why not? I think for many reasons, right? We know, for example, if we're going to deal with the prosperity aspect of things, we know that the love of money is the root of all evil. So if that's the case, and you're telling people in your ministry or in your teaching and your sermon, I love money, money cometh unto me, let's anoint the money, so on and so forth, and there's no balance, there is no teaching of morality, there's no teaching of the commandments, you're pretty much giving yourself over to evil, or at least put yourself in a position where your stance against evil has become weakened.
Wow.
Because your love for money is more, it's more, or your love for money is actually outgrown your love for righteousness, or your love for morality and truth and things of that nature. And, we can go on and on about the different factions of religions, whether it be factions of Islam, who also proclaim to be upholders of righteousness, who themselves are propagators of things that are against the commandments of God, which again weakens their stance against evil. But that's pretty much it for now.
Well, I'm glad you brought that out. Those were some good points, Elder Lawyer. And I'm sure you brothers and sisters have some points of your own that you can chime in with. Here's a question that I think will actually jog some level of thinking towards solution. Here's a good question. Another question I'm going to put out there. The first question is there a unified front against wickedness? If not, why? One reason to why there's no unified front is because I don't think people, even in religion, Elder Lawyer, is being taught what good is. Good has become subjective.
Exactly.
What is good?
So as you can probably tell from the way I speak and teach, I watch these guys a lot. Their channel is called A Gathering 144. You can find them by typing in GOCC, and what they just said is so pertinent, I couldn't have and wouldn't have said it any different. So with that, I'm going to end this video. Shalom. Shalom.